Gilberto Mora is younger than some of the tactics boards in FIFA's equipment closets. He is 17. He has played 53 professional matches in his career. And this week, against Czechia, he walked into Estadio Azteca in front of 87,000 people, took the ball between the lines, and started opening up a professional defensive backline with the kind of passes that coaches spend years trying to teach. Mexico have never finished a World Cup group stage with 9 points and a clean sheet. Javier Aguirre's team just did it for the first time in their history, and the 17-year-old who shouldn't even be here is becoming one of the main reasons why. When Mora came on against South Africa in Mexico's opening match, he broke a record that had stood for 96 years, becoming the youngest Mexican player ever to appear at a World Cup, surpassing a mark set at the inaugural tournament in 1930. He also became the youngest player ever to represent a host nation on the World Cup stage. But here's what makes this even stranger. At 15, he became the youngest goalscorer in Liga MX history. By 16, he debuted for Mexico's senior national team. And before turning 17, he'd already won a senior international trophy at the Gold Cup, topping Lamine Yamal and Pelé on the list of youngest players to achieve that. That timeline isn't a career arc. It's a compression of what usually takes a decade into under 2 years. At first, it looks like raw talent. Then, another pattern starts to appear. What analysts highlight about Mora isn't the goals or the assists, it's the football IQ. His ability to read and anticipate play before the ball arrives, to receive between the lines under pressure, to release the ball with perfect timing when defenders close him down. NBC's scouting profile put it this way: his technical brilliance and general IQ are elite for his age. Not elite for a teenager, elite, full stop. Against South Africa, Mora completed all 14 of his pass attempts in under 30 minutes, including a key through ball that split the defensive line. Against Czechia, he took time to settle into the moment, but once he found his rhythm, he began producing the kind of passes that opened Czechia up. His confidence grew with every touch. What you're watching isn't a teenager playing beyond his years. It's a player whose football brain is operating several steps ahead of the moment he's in. The deeper you look, the harder this becomes to explain. Aguirre's own words about Mora: "We brought him to the Gold Cup. We watched him train and saw how he carried himself off the pitch. He had to play. It was instinctive. That was clear. He has that special gift. He's cut from the same cloth as the likes of Cuauhtémoc Blanco, the kind of unique talent our country produces." Cuauhtémoc Blanco is one of the greatest Mexican players who ever lived, and Mora is 17. Every generation has a teenager who changes the temperature of a tournament. Pelé was 17 when he helped Brazil win the 1958 World Cup. Mbappé was 19 when France lifted it in 2018. Lamine Yamal was 16 at Euro 2024. What connected all of them wasn't age. It was the way they forced opponents to make decisions they weren't prepared to make. Mora's age of 17 years and 253 days places him in an exclusive group of teenage World Cup starters, just behind Celestine Babayaro Ogbeche and ahead of Cameroon's Rigobert Song. He is already in that conversation, and Mexico haven't even reached the knockout rounds yet. And that's when the real story begins. Manchester United, Real Madrid, Chelsea, and Manchester City are all tracking him. Club Tijuana moved quickly, signing him to a new 3-year deal just days before the tournament, handing him the number 10 jersey and inserting a €20 million release clause designed to facilitate an inevitable move to Europe. €20 million. For a player who is 17 and already starting World Cup matches on home soil, that number will not look the same in 6 weeks. Mexico finished the group stage having used every available outfield player, won all 3 matches, and conceded 0 goals, something El Tri have never done at a World Cup. Every remaining opponent now has to prepare for Edson Alvarez, Santiago Gimenez, Julián Quiñones, and a 17-year-old who reads defensive lines before defenders have decided what they're doing. Mexico's decision to start Mora signals confidence, but it also signals something else. Aguirre believes his team needs what Mora provides, and that no one else in his squad can provide it. That's not a youth experiment. That's a tactical statement. Mexico have never gone past the round of 16. They are on home soil. Their group stage is the best in the country's history. And somewhere in the middle of all of it is a 17-year-old from Chiapas who sees the game before it happens. So here's the question. Is Gilberto Mora simply the most exciting young player at this World Cup? Or is he the player who finally takes Mexico somewhere?